Hello and welcome to this Python tutorial. This is part 2 of a series of tutorials where I'll be showing you how to use Python to clean up data that has been imported from a different data source. In this case, we are using Microsoft Excel as our data source. In part 1, I showed you how to substitute any missing values, and then in part 2, I'll be showing you how to correct any errors and how to change any column headers. Let's get started. So the first thing I need to do is show you our Excel data frame that we're using as our data source, because I've added an extra column and I have deliberately put in some errors which we'll be using Python to correct. Other than that, everything else is the same. So if we save it and then get rid of it, we can then go to our Python shell. Now in part 1, we imported a pandas module as PD. So whenever we refer to PD, we're calling our pandas module. And then we also created our Excel read data frame in pandas. So whenever we call Excel read, we're referring to our pandas data frame, which contains the information that I just showed you in Excel. So the first thing I want to do is check that we have our new purchase date column. And we do here, including, if we go to our write on output, you can see that we do have our purchase date column, and we also have these errors which we need to correct. And also this is a continuation from part 1, so we will also have our missing values substituted for the values that they should be. Good. So now the first thing we need to do is correct those errors in the purchase date column. And how we do that is, if we zoom in, is we call our purchase date column in our Excel read data frame, and then we call it again to do an action to it. And in this case, our action is to replace these errors, these values, with the values that they should be. And I've used a dictionary for that because we've got a few errors. And it's a really great way, in this case, of just cycling through those errors, especially if you've got lots of them, and then calling each error and replace them each time. That's why I've used a dictionary. So if you type in Excel read square brackets purchase date and then dot replace, and then in normal brackets, we're going to create our dictionary here. And then what we're going to do in our dictionary is we're going to call our old value and then replace it with our new value. So what I've done here is I've copy and pasted my old value and put it in speech marks, typed in a colon, and then put in our new value in speech marks as well. And then once we press comma, that is our first error that will have its value changed when we run the code. And I've done exactly the same thing for the second one and the third one as well. Replacing the old value, putting a comma, putting a colon in, and then replacing it with the new value it should be. And if you had many more mistakes, then you could just go through them, press comma, go through them with your old value, old, press colon, put in your new value, and then just keep going down and cycling like that. We only have 3 values here, so let's stick with our 3. And if I then run this code now, we can see here that we have now corrected our values, but they're not recorded as a date time value. So we still have a formatting error where these 3 values are not recorded as date time, they're just simply values in a date format. And we also have this hours, minutes, seconds, which it would be nice to get rid of. And how we do that, how we get everything in the same format, is we call again our purchase date column, and this time typing equals and then pd dot toDateTime. And what toDateTime will do is that will convert all the values in the purchase date column of the Excel read data frame into a date time format, and within the date time function we call in our purchase date column. And so if we then print our purchase date column, here we see here that everything now has been formatted correctly and in the same way. So we've gone from this on our output from the right to this, which is good. That's exactly what we wanted. And now then, if we print our entire data frame, we should see, yes, that our purchase date column has now got everything correctly. Our missing values have been substituted as in part 1. And now what's left to do is to change our column headers. So let's do that. And how we do that is we are going to call it our entire data frame this time, Excel read, and leaving out any square brackets because we're calling the whole thing. And we equate that to Excel read.rename. So we type in Excel read.rename, and then in the rename, we're going to rename our columns and equals, and then we're going to have curly brackets again. So we're again using a dictionary to replace the old with the new. And following exactly the same method as we did above for the date is we're going to replace group here with our new title, our item column name with a new column of item name, and the unit price here, we've continued the same name that we've specified the currency. So now we know what currency the unit price is in. So now if we print our entire data frame, we see here that we have our item category, our item name, our unit price, purchase counter, and purchase date column. Our headers have been updated, and our purchase date is now in the correct format with those errors corrected. So that's all I want to show you today. Moving forwards, I'm going to show you how to add columns, how to delete columns, and how to maybe not transformation, but other errors as well, and then anything else that I can think of really that I think you may benefit from. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to watch other videos, including part 1 in this series if you haven't watched it. Thank you very much for watching.